This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Sunday. It's going to be a short one because Justin doesn't give a fuck tonight. Sorry. Really in not giving a fuck mood and really want to play video games. I woke up, this dude, I can't if it was from Norway or if he was Dutch. I don't remember. It was one of those Scandinavian countries. He had a video project for me. It's fucking huge. That's what I woke up to. It was like fucking 9 o'clock this morning. I got a fucking notification. So the entire time, like I'm like trying to start on it and put together my proposal and everything and show him that I can do the shit that he has requested. And the entire time I was like, I do not give a fuck. I do not want to do this right now. I forced myself to do it. Now I'm forcing myself to do a Troll Patrol for you, the people, like Shelly and Glennigley. Good evening. Welcome. I was all excited for wrestling last night. We watched some of the best wrestling we've ever watched, and then like the internet started shitting the bed on me. So it's just been, a few days of malaise. Shelly, you're welcome. Glad to be here. I say it's going to be a fast one, but it's not like I have less shit on my notes. I can't help it. I get into it and I start, doing the damn thing. Joe Biden allowing for long-range missiles to be sent to Ukraine in one of his last acts as president. Yay. Russia launching a massive attack. Not like the good kind with the DJs and, Heat Miser, Atlas Air, or Live With Me, You're Safe From Harm, Mezzanine. Just naming all Massive Attack songs now. Biden made a trip to the rainforest. Hilarious clip of him just walking off into the forest. Maybe that's the last we ever see of him. He just walks into the rainforest. Final time meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The slippers from the Wizard of Oz was apparently stolen in a heist years ago. They have shown up in an auction. We're going to hear from Fox and Friends about who they think is the sexiest man alive. $5 says it's Donald Trump. From them. They're going to say it's Donald Trump. A U.S. tourist in Japan has defaced a shrine, facing charges. Bullets hit a Southwest flight. This time it wasn't in Haiti, it was in Texas. A Hollywood strip mall is burnt down. A Philly man went on a forklift rampage. A pursuit suspect in California landed on the roof of a house. This is like the fifth story of a car going through the roof of a house that we've done in the last few months. That story I told you about a human head being found on a beach last week, it has been identified. Apparently was a missing swimmer. Socks, will you get down? Seriously. Oh my God. Alien Deep Dish, welcome in anonymously. Flash. Curiouser. Wasn't expecting you. Figured you were still in transit. Curiouser finally sent me pictures. I asked her yesterday to send me pictures of the B-52s. Finally got some today. Have not got to watch the video she sent, though. Because, let me tell you, Facebook Messenger sucks now. I can't read message. I didn't even know you sent me a message until an hour ago. The band. She went to see the band. I guess they're doing a residency in Vegas. Minty, good evening. I've got 2 cats sitting right here in my shit. All 3 of them were on the desk the whole day as I was trying to work. on something I didn't give a fuck about doing. Really in a malaise. Kitty, seriously. I was. She walked off. I was talking to you, yes. Oh well. Oh shit. I never even switched to. Oh fuck.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
I hadn't hit the show music yet. I didn't reset my drop, so you get Kennedy needs cock. Here's your meme of the day. Tropical storm Sarah to strike Honduras with extreme rain. This isn't even a meme. This is literally a screenshot from AccuWeather. I was thinking it looked like a giant dick. A Cheeto dick. Minty's like, that's a penis. Got a hook in it, too. That's Megan Thee Stallion's favorite kind. Call him Captain Hook. Reminds me of that episode of Sunny in Philadelphia where they have the party mansion and they're looking for guys to come over and hang out at their party mansion. Nothing sexual. Why is it shaped like a dick? It was a bicep. Did I finish running down the news yet? I don't think I did. Where'd I leave off? The tourist that defaced a Japanese shrine? Fucking, this is like the 5th story of a car going through the roof of a house we've done in the last few months. I hope we've got good video of this. A security guard who was apparently involved in a couple's child custody case or something. Gunned them down hours before the hearing on Friday. A 72-year-old pastor has found out what his bond will be after being charged with rape. Speaking of rapists, House Minority Leader Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries. Who the fuck is Jim Jeffries? That's a comedian. That's the comedian who does the bit about taking his friend's brother with MS to a whorehouse. And you absolutely should go and... You know what? Let's just cut off the show and I'll play that Jim Jeffries bit. Good night, everybody. Let's do the Jim Jeffries bit. Nope, I'm sorry. I need to tell you guys about Pete Hegseth and his apparent sexual assault allegation he faced in 2017. And Trump celebrated his win in the election Saturday night at UFC. Flash, I did not and didn't even put it on the list tonight. The Philippines have been hit with 4 cyclones? Not cyclones, no. Typhoons. Typhoons has been hit with 4 typhoons in 10 days. 4 typhoons in 10 days. Now, a typhoon is just a hurricane that occurs in the Pacific Ocean. Had to look this up the other day. Oh, all that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol. Live, good evening, welcome in. It is 10 after, so it's time to get to what that news be doing. I can't see because fucking Smokey's in my way. Do they? Do they spin the other way? Maybe that would... They go the other way, don't they? No, they both go... No, some of our hurricanes go west to east, but we have ones that go east to west as well. It could be like the toilets spinning the opposite. Smokey, you're really going to have to get the fuck out of my way. Seriously, dude. Go. Go. He's right in front of my monitor. You can see his little paws stretching out on the camera. My God. What am I crying about? That I can't see my monitor because my cat's sitting in front of it like he's been all goddamn day. Maybe Brandon's trying to save the rainforest for us as one of his last acts as president, headed down to South America.
Hi there, I'm Phil Lipoff. We want to get right to our top story. We have major developments in the war in Ukraine. President Biden has authorized Ukraine to use long-range missiles inside Russia. Officials are telling ABC News at this hour. Ukraine has been...
Oh, I'm sorry. I introduced this as Biden in the rainforest. It is not. Justin, what is wrong with you tonight? Apparently a lot. This was Biden authorizing the use of long-range missiles in Ukraine, which goddamn Zelensky has been begging for like 4 years now. It hasn't been going on that long. 2 years at least.
Been lobbying, as you know, for a long time to allow the use of these kinds of missiles, but Biden has specifically prohibited their use since the start of the war. It marks a major escalation in this conflict, and it comes just hours after Russia launched one of its largest missile attacks against Ukraine in months, targeting power plants and energy infrastructure across the country. So joining me now to talk about this is ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez, along with ABC's Patrick Reevell, who is inside Ukraine for us. Patrick, I want to start with you. This seems like a major shift in the Biden policy right at the end of his presidency toward Ukraine. How did we get here?
Yeah, seriously.
Hi, Phil. Yeah, I mean, this is significant. 2 U.S. officials have confirmed to us that President Biden has now authorized Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles inside Russia. These are long-range, powerful missiles with a range of 190 miles and very powerful warheads. And Ukraine has had them for some time, but has not been permitted to use them inside Russia for many months, despite pleas from the Ukrainian side to be allowed to do so, because the Biden administration has been concerned about escalation. Now, clearly, that has now changed.
Got here just in time, Monsieur Balls. Welcome in.
Tonight, I think there is one very important caveat, though, that we are seeing indications that the authorization is only going to allow the ATACMS to be used inside Russia's Kursk region, which is the border region.
Is he saying ATACMS? That sounds like a snack or something. Like, I'm going to go get a bag of ATACMS. Like, what the fuck?
Where Ukraine seized a foothold back in August with its surprise offensive. We understand...
Flash, can you tell me what he's saying?
That there may be only the permission only being allowed to let Ukraine strike there rather than abroad.
I knew Flash would have my back. ATACMS. So ATACMS. That's how you pronounce the acronym. Do you know what the acronym is for? Oh, hold on. Gave me the Wikipedia entry. Thank you. Army Tactical Missile Systems. ATACMS.
Border authorization, which is what Ukraine had been seeking. We've heard a confirmation from one Ukrainian official saying that this is a partial green light, but not entirely what Ukraine was asking for. I think one of the reasons we're seeing from the White House why Biden has made this decision, in part, is because of the appearance of North Korean troops inside the Kursk region. We know that there are thousands of North Korean troops there taking part in an offensive with Russian forces trying to drive Ukraine out of the Kursk region. And
wait a minute. This is the first I've heard of the North Korean troops actually being there. I know that they were doing like joint exercises and shit, and there had been talks of partnership between the North Koreans and Russian. I had not heard that the North Koreans actually had boots on the ground. That's wild.
And it appears that in part this decision to allow Ukraine to now begin striking inside Russia with ATACMS was driven by the fact that North Korea has now joined the war much more directly, Phil.
Yeah, well, that is an important caveat, if that's what you're hearing from your sources, that it's going to be a partial green light. Louis, the timing of this...
Well, there's been a few things going on the last couple of weeks that would distract an American.
Decision is certainly notable, given that President-elect Trump is set to take the White House in just a few months. What are you hearing from your contacts at the Pentagon? This must be
can you blame them?
Confusing, especially in these last 2 months of this presidency.
Well, Phil, officially, the Pentagon is not saying much at all about this. They're not confirming this report officially. But one of the things that you can gather, as you mentioned, it's 2 months left in the administration. And one of the things that's really important right now is to not prevent this situation from escalating. Because as you have all this talk about potential peace talks should a Trump administration, when they come in very early on, then what are the benefits? What are the losses in terms of who gains territory? What?
I would assume they're absolutely being used as fodder. I would assume that's how the North Korean military would use them as well if they were engaged, as fodder.
Gain what territory must be given back. And right now, Russia has the upper hand in some of these areas, particularly in Kursk and other parts of eastern Russia, eastern Ukraine that they've seized. So potentially, I think what you're looking at right here is a tactical response. Try to get push back the Russians as much as possible so that they don't make any further gains. Now, one thing to point out, these missiles can be fired from deep within Russia, inside Ukraine, and the long range will then strike inside of Kursk. So potentially it's not that they have to be right inside of Kursk or that they have to be right on the border. It affords a little more safety for the launchers. But I think it really is all about the tactics right now and ensuring that Kursk doesn't fall to Russia, particularly now that you have North Korean forces engaged. And this is already turning into a much broader conflict just by the mere presence of 10,000 North Korean troops inside of Kursk.
Yeah, Patrick, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. This decision coming obviously after Russia launched that most devastating attack on Ukraine in months. I'm wondering if you're thinking this had more to do with that, the most recent attack, or the fact that policy toward Ukraine, U.S. policy, might be changing in a couple of months.
Yeah, Phil, no, I think this decision probably was already in the works. It's unlikely that, the decision was made after this massive attack that we saw here today in Ukraine. It was one of the largest attacks of the year. In fact, it was the third largest attack of the year, but it's certainly also the biggest attack we've seen here since August. 120 missiles, 90 drones fired across Ukraine, mostly targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure, hitting power plants. We know that significant damage was done to a number of power plants around the country. Several cities saw blackouts, some because their systems were damaged, others because Ukraine has had to impose emergency shutdowns to try and protect the grid. We saw that in Kyiv. Obviously, it's timed because we are entering winter here in Ukraine. It is already cold here, and the temperatures are going to continue to go down. And clearly what we're seeing here is what had been feared, is that Russia is going to attempt to use cold as a weapon this winter. And so these strikes today are clearly part of that. But I think in terms of why President Biden chose to make this decision now, I think, as Louis was saying, it does in part perhaps seem because Russia is on the offensive, not only in Kursk, but all across the east of Ukraine, but in particular in Kursk, there is this major offensive involving North Korean troops, which was both a surprising and also very dramatic escalation of this war. And clearly, I think the Biden administration felt they couldn't just let it go past. But I think also, inside Kursk, we're seeing Russian forces slowly pushing Ukrainian forces.
The Biden administration couldn't just let it go past like they did with the deadline that Israel had to meet for humanitarian aid in Gaza now.
Back, and I think there must be some sense within the Biden administration that they want to try and hold that. But I think also here in Ukraine there will still be some frustration because for more than a year they've been demanding to use ATACMS inside Russia, telling the Biden administration that it's not going to lead to a major escalation. And now finally we see in the dying days of the Biden administration.
Seriously, I got some ATACMS and I got some Crustables.
So the decision to allow Ukraine to use these weapons that, as you point out, the U.S. has not given them permission to do as we supply a lot of these weapons. But Louis, back in September, Russian President Vladimir Putin said, and we'll quote this for you, if this decision is made, it will mean that NATO countries, the United States and European countries are at war with Russia. How do you expect President Putin to respond now that this decision has been made?
Bill, that's been the tough rhetoric that has really concerned U.S. officials, which is one of the reasons why they've held off on this decision. Yes, Ukrainians have been asking for this weapon system for a long time, and the United States has said, look, we don't have enough of them. The Russians have moved all of their equipment further away from the range of these missiles, so their effectiveness has been reduced. But one of the big concerns has always been the red lines. We've seen the red lines with the F-16s, with the M1A1 Abrams tanks, with the Patriot missile systems, and now you had these ATACMS. So this was the last red line. The question is the rhetoric going to be matched by even more bellicose language from Russia in the wake of today's decision?
What is going to happen with this?
Thank you both very much. This is obviously something we will be following.
What do you guys is Russia just going to go fucking ape shit on Ukraine after Trump takes office? They're going to pull back all U.S. support? I mean, what's going to happen? And what does that mean for the rest of the world? I've heard there's been a lot of backroom dealings so far, that they're trying to work out what they call peace deals in both Gaza and the war in Russia in order to make Trump look strong as he comes into office. Well, see, here's the thing, Flash, is I think Congress wants to keep supporting the war. And we saw Trump be friendly to Russia during his first term, but the Senate be incredibly hard on Russia. It's a weird dichotomy that we face as a country right now. Because, I mean, ultimately the purse strings are with Congress. They're with the House of Representatives. But now even the Senate and the House looks a lot different than what it did via 2017. Hayes, good evening. I mean, it looks like NATO is gonna lose the war. What happens to NATO after the fair? NATO ain't in no war, but like Ukraine is receiving support from NATO countries. Yeah, the Europeans aren't gonna fight, so I don't. But Gira, that makes no fucking sense. The Ukrainians have to suffer due to the Biden administration failure. What in the fuck does that even mean? How is Russia invading Biden's failure? I swear, right-wingers are fucking morons. Biden made a trip to the rainforest. The Rainforest Day. Also meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. YouTube acting like Netflix on me here. What the fuck? It may be the browser. It happened to me the other day. I had to switch browsers because this browser would not play shit. Fucking finally.
President Biden, meantime, speaking in Brazil just moments ago to deliver remarks about climate change after wrapping up a high-stakes meeting at the APEC summit in Peru. Listen in.
Today,
Bound, welcome in.
the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Amazon rainforest to recommit to protecting the rainforest like this one. Most powerful solutions we have to fight climate change is all around us.
This comes after Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping, as you see here, met to discuss rising geopolitical tensions amid other issues like trade and cybercrime. ABC News' Alex Perche has been on this trip and joins us now from Rio de Janeiro, where the president is. Alex, it's good to see you. How significant is this trip to Brazil for President Biden, and what, if anything, did he announce?
Hey, Phil. Yeah, so it's historic, right? I mean, the White House really proud of the fact that this is the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Amazon. And also, I mean, this is an opportunity for Biden really to cement his legacy, specifically on climate change, and they're really kind of leaning into that. Look, there's an understanding, whether it be at APEC.
Why is Rio in black and white behind him? I do not know what is going on with ABC News here.
Whether it be leading into this G20 summit, that the winds of U.S. policy are going to change on a lot of different issues, and climate change is going to be one of them. The president has alluded that he understands that his successor.
Yeah, we're fucked in terms of climate change.
See eye to eye on with him on many of these climate change issues, and so look. He says today that he's trying to ensure that he leaves his country in as strong a position as possible. A big theme has been a smooth transition, but that is really his focus these last couple of days. But take a listen to a little bit.
He is dressed like he's the host of an episode of Survivor or some shit.
More of what he said today in Manaus.
We've launched the 150 nation strong global methane pledge. We delivered a record climate financing to developing countries. We pledged that we would deliver $11 billion per year by 2024. I'm pleased to announce.
Balls, Flash, why are you guys fighting in the what in the fuck is going on?
Today, that we not only kept that promise, we've surpassed it.
So again, I mean, that is Biden really kind of taking a victory lap on his climate policy. The White House also announcing an additional $50 million to on top of $50 million that they've already given to this Amazon fund. Biden
Flash isn't either.
Amazon is the lungs
what the fuck?
of the world, and therefore it should be very critical for U.S. policy.
Alex, this all comes after, of course, the president met with the Chinese president. I'm wondering, how are these talks being received, even as, or especially as we are going through transition of power here in this country?
Well, look, I mean, I think
Lily, thank you for being a freaking follower.
Right, and so there is
welcome in
acknowledgement that
5-shot welcome in
different come January. We heard President Xi mention this transition. He talked about the importance of a smooth transition with these U.S.-China relations, but he didn't mention President-elect Donald Trump by name. Now, I wouldn't read into that too much.
But Giro, what the fuck are you talking about? This is what your Biden. One, I didn't support Biden. Your Biden administration does to people. No, like, that's what right-wing fucking propaganda does to your dumbass brain. It causes you to turn on people and say stupid shit. All right, 5-shot. You wanted to ask me a question. What's up? What's your question, my friend? I do want to go back to the rainforest one more time, though, and watch Biden walk off into the forest. I was curious, I was like, nobody redeemed the weed. What the hell? I've got like a bowl left, and I'm saving it for after the stream. Tadpole did. Well, shit. I mean, clearly the people have spoken. I'm gonna have to go out and get the bong. Yeah, 5-shot. What? When were we talking about what? Yeah, I'm in a new place. I brought an ounce with me, and that was a month ago, so I have gone through my ounce. A hot take. What was my hot? I had a hot take last night. Well, Curiouser, my dude was asking about you. Was like, I haven't heard from your girl. I was like, well, she's in Vegas, so I'd say you'll hear from her soon. I kept it non-political. Oh, you want a political hot take? What's my political hot take? Bim Vox, welcome in. I've seen Ghost twice. I saw them before they were really big. They were kind of breaking big when I saw them. They were in a club. And then I saw them when... And that's what I told them. I was like, shit, she was stocked up when I left. And then I saw them when they opened for Iron Maiden a couple years. It might have been like the next year. Oh, Bound, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know Ohio passed weed. I thought it was still a state where, like, did they decriminalize it or did they legalize it? Oh, wow, film. That's fucking awesome. One more time. Biden walking off. Just because I find this funny. He waves at the people. He'll walk off into the rainforest. I didn't know it was legal though. That's the only cool thing about Ohio then. It would be nice if he just walked off into the rainforest. That's the last time we ever saw him. Flash, is there more to it? Have you seen a longer version? I just assumed that they cut it off because like some handler comes and gets him. And it's just funnier to think that he walked off into the rainforest. Random cougar takes him up a tree.
Come on, man.
Oh, god damn. He catches a ride on a cheetah. You people. Bagheera, you're gonna wish you hadn't been wanting Trump in office. The motherfucker's gonna come in and wreck this shit. Holy fuck. Okay, I gotta redeem the weed thing, which means I gotta step outside, so you guys enjoy an ad. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked sick aesthetic.
Not high enough for this shit.
I guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to JustinFREAKIN.
Hey there, y'all. We're about to get stupid, locked into what that news be doing. Fu Manchu and a slick bandana, colder than ice, smoother than Santana. Audio, video, chat and calls. Right-wing nut jobs haunt the halls. What you wanna watch? Hey, what you thinking? There's only one choice. It's JustinFREAKIN.
The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the cult.
Light one up and tip one back. It's a right to be high. Let's grab a snack. It's fucking news, quick panic attack, and play your cards right and get a titty slap. Jump in Discords, have some fun. The man will talk to everyone. Get high and try to debate. When shit pops up, chat thinks it's great. What do you think you're doing? Join the troll patrol. Wherever discourse is brewing, he gives it that southern drawl.
So let's go ahead and bring in Justin. Hey Justin, how's it going, brother?
First of all, I want to say you're poser South. I'm in Alabama. I'm the real South.
Okay, all right. So why don't you tell us what it takes to be a man?
Well, I don't know. I'm in Alabama and I'll fuck a man in a dress. Why won't you fuck a man in a dress? Are you that insecure that you won't fuck a man in a dress?
That's fantastic. So you're okay with that, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Good.
Right-wingers are morons.
Light one hit and hit one back. One more click before we hit the set. Set an alert when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm Justin Freakin.
Not high enough for this shit.
Had one good hit in the bowl. Another hit. I brought the bowl back with me though so I can put some more in it. Left the bong out on the stoop. Back to what that news be doing. Biden met with Chinese President Xi Jinping, otherwise known as Winnie the Pooh, for the last time.
Final meeting at the APEC summit in Peru. Outgoing President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping acknowledged the ups and downs of their relationship while celebrating progress on trade and Taiwan issues. However, experts warn that with Trump's promise to hike tariffs on Chinese goods, the future of U.S.
I can look at your chat history.
Could become more unpredictable.
We haven't always agreed, but our conversations have always been candid and always been frank. We have never kidded one another. We've been level with one another. And I think that's vital. These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict.
The Chinese president.
Looks like it was last Saturday. You asked me for a hot take. You asked me if I had debated anybody. That's about all.
And said
thank you, Flash.
The goal of a stable relationship with Washington would remain unchanged.
A stable relationship with Washington as they continue saber rattling about China all the fucking time. A stable relationship. Guess let's talk about a really stable genius, shall we? I got really upset at my buddy. He's been on to me to download the Hot Wheels game. It was the free game on the PlayStation Store this month. I finally downloaded it last night. I'm like, I hit him up at like 10 o'clock. And I was like, all right, you ready? And he's like, no, I'm watching UFC. I'm like, what the fuck? I downloaded that damn Hot Wheels game that you've been wanting to play, and you're going to watch John Jones eye poke a dude instead. What the fuck is up with that? But you know who else was at the UFC event? Trump.
Entire system went after
Mar-a-Lago was raided by FBI in New York. Indictment.
A sweeping indictment in
Donald
Georgia.
Trump says he's been indicted again.
I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear.
But he never stopped fighting for you.
I will never stop fighting for you.
He eye poked somebody last night, didn't he?
Our magnificent country.
President-elect Trump shared a video.
Man, I've heard a lot of people talk about the Department of Education, but like, I have a feeling that a lot of people that are having opinions on the Department of Education don't actually know what the Department of Education does. And if you don't know what the Department of Education does, please don't have opinions on it. All it does is, first of all, has nothing to do with the curriculum. It might set minimum standards that you're supposed to hit with test scores and shit in order to get funding. It's a funding mechanism. The Department of Education will give you funding if you hit blah test scores. Curriculum is set at the state level. That's what your state Department of Education does. This is why civics is so important in this goddamn country. People don't even know how the fucking shit works, and they want to have opinions on things. And it pisses me off to no end. Sorry. Those people need a titty slap.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
On X today, celebrating his recent victory and addressing those who doubted his success. Trump headed to Madison Square Garden tonight in New York City to see an ultimate fighting match. This is the president-elect and Health and Human Services Secretary nominee Robert Kennedy Jr. watching UFC 309 together.
Wait a minute, I thought they were at the fight.
Trump has chosen Chris Wright, CEO of Liberty Energy, to lead the energy department. Right.
What woke mind virus? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What, like, facts and reality is the woke mind virus to you?
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see.
You don't even know what the Department of Education does, and you have opinions on it, and you're hoping they get rid of the woke mind virus. Give me a fucking break.
The pioneer in the fracking industry is expected to help fulfill Trump's promise to increase domestic fossil fuel production.
What increase domestic fossil fuel production from, already historically high levels?
Billionaire Elon Musk has endorsed Howard Lutnick, CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, for the role of Treasury Secretary in the second Trump administration. On X, Musk praised.
Hey, Bound, do you know what a good liberal arts education gets you? Critical thinking skills. You get a bunch of science and math nerds that don't know how to fucking critically think, and you get dumbasses that vote for Trump and become terrorists. Pick math and science education. Pick math and science education. If you can't fucking critically think, then your math and science education doesn't do you any fucking good. That's why we need philosophy. That's why they tried to integrate critical thinking into math, and they called it Common Core, and dumb fucks issued a backlash against it. Issued a backlash. Promoted a backlash against it. The critique of scientism? What in the fuck is scientism? Devin Heavy Still, good evening. Bagheera, what the fuck are you talking about, Antifa or terrorists? Did you know that well over 70% of the political violence in this country comes from the right, comes from white supremacist groups and neo-Nazis? Hey, Bound, is that actually true, or is that just a right-wing trope that you've been brainwashed to believe? There's a bunch of Starbucks employees with philosophy degrees. Do you want to know who has a philosophy degree? You know who doesn't work at Starbucks? Bounds like I have no idea what career path you'd take if you have a philosophy degree. Do you know what most people with a philosophy degree do? Law. Lawyers. Lawyers are philosophy majors. What? Jesus. I swear to God. Okay, Bound, do you know the profession most likely to become a terrorist? Engineers. Holiday, good evening. Some of the dumbest people I've ever met are fucking engineers because they don't have critical thinking skills. You don't know what a logical fallacy is. That's your problem. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, but a philosophy major can tell you with certainty the argument that you're making, what is wrong with it, and why it's stupid. No, he's hiding from his wife. Oh my God, Bagheera. Philosophy is a bullshit degree according to you because you have been brainwashed to believe that it is a bullshit degree. Do you know what it teaches people? Critical thinking skills. Do you know what you lack? Critical thinking skills. One of my favorite things was in practical reasoning, because it was one of those classes like everybody had to take. Because, you have to take one philosophy class no matter what major you're in or whatever. So I'm in practical reasoning, and I'm taking it just because I want to take it. And I like the professor. He's one of the best professors at my college. I don't even think I needed it for my degree or it counted as one of my electives. And I'm sitting in practical reasoning. There's all these people that believe all these dumb right-wing things. And just like, the professor will talk them through why it's stupid to believe that. Bagheera, are you just a dumbass? Like, it teaches them to get high and open the mind and see the world. Is seeing the world differently a bad thing? Motherfucker's down in a cave seeing shadows. Doesn't understand the allegory of the cave. Because you've never goddamn read Aristotle. You don't know baby logic because you've never read Aristotle. You don't know how to question your own biases because you've never read Socrates. I'm sorry, you've never read Plato. Socrates was illiterate. The works of Plato are actually the story of Socrates. Good evening, Princess Kimberly. How are you? Torchy, welcome in. Hold on. I got Smokey at the door wanting back in. Even though he's the one that ran out when I came back. I like how everybody's like taking shots at people with philosophy degrees. I have one. Oh shit. Oh, bound. That's totally understandable. Bagheera? People that vote Trump have no idea what the fuck is going on in the world. Don't make me tap the sign again. Being misinformed on immigration, crime, and the economy correlated with ballot choice. If you thought crime had gone up, you were likely to vote for Trump. If you thought inflation had not declined, you were likely to vote for Trump. If you do not realize that the stock market had reached all-time highs, you were likely to vote for Trump. If you didn't realize that border crossings had gone down to pre-pandemic levels, you were likely to vote for Trump. All those things aren't reality. Why can't I get through to you people? I'm trying so fucking hard. Let's talk about Trump's pick to head the Department of Defense. Incoming defense secretary, if confirmed, Pete Hegseth, was apparently facing a sexual assault allegation from 2017.
President-elect Trump appeared in New York City Saturday night attending a UFC event along with Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy, his nominee to run Health and Human Services. Trump may be facing a political fight to confirm Kennedy and some of his other choices. Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest.
Before his return to the Oval Office, President-elect Trump arrived at the Octagon, sitting ringside for a UFC event in Madison Square Garden, along with Kid Rock and Elon Musk. In the same arena where he hosted a controversial October campaign rally, Trump was joined by some of the faces he wants in his new administration. On Saturday, Trump picked Chris Wright to lead the Department of Energy. Wright, an energy company CEO, has pushed for more fossil fuel production.
The CEO of an energy company, because he's for the working class. That's what I kept hearing, that Trump was for the working class.
And claimed there is no climate crisis. Some of Trump's choices are drawing intense scrutiny. Trump's team is defending Pete Hegseth, the Fox News host and military veteran picked as a potential defense secretary, and who was investigated for sexual misconduct allegations. Hegseth's attorney told the Washington Post he paid his accuser as part of a non-disclosure agreement, but denies any wrongdoing.
So he paid her off.
For Attorney General Matt Gaetz was investigated by the House Ethics Committee over allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, which he also denies. But the findings haven't been released, and Gaetz has resigned from the House. Speaker Mike Johnson says the report should stay sealed.
Stick to the tradition and not release a report on a former member of the House because it would open a dangerous Pandora's box.
The president-elect wants to avoid a
Why not? Why not release it?
Political fight.
What Pandora's box? Transparency?
Recess appointments to bypass the Senate confirmation process. But it's not clear even a Republican-led Senate will yield that power.
The incoming Senate Majority Leader, John Thur, has said confirming Trump's nominations will be priority with an aggressive schedule to complete the process.
There is actually a clause in the Constitution that if the Senate and the House can't agree... See, I had to read about this because this goes back to Obama, that they've been keeping the Senate open instead of adjourning for recess over holiday breaks. This goes back to blocking Obama from making recess appointments of judges. So apparently, if the House passes a bill and the Senate doesn't agree on it, the president can actually recess the two. And that would be how Trump could make a recess happen and get his appointments. You heard Speaker Mike Johnson. We don't want to open Pandora's box to, transparency and release an ethics report. By the way, that should have already been released. It would have been released on Friday. Bagheera, you're not in for a peaceful and prosperous 4 years. What is wrong with you, dude? His last term wasn't peaceful or prosperous. The things you give him credit for were Obama. The things you're going to give him credit for in February are Biden. No, Bagheera's being serious, 5-shot. I've known him long enough to know. But I'm glad he's here. At least I might be able to break through to him. But that report, which was supposed to... we're not into wars, Bagheera. And both of those were started by Trump. You don't understand how fucking policy takes years. Jesus. Remember back when Trump recognized the Golan Heights and moved the embassy to Jerusalem and signed the Abraham Accords? That's what caused the fucking massacres going on in Gaza right now. You don't understand how things are connected. Russia was wanting to invade Ukraine in 2019. That's what the first impeachment was over. That Trump was trying to withhold aid to Ukraine in order to get them to make up an investigation about Hunter Biden. Like, I really wish you people were informed or didn't have opinions on shit you don't know about. Question marks. Good evening. He annexed Crimea back in 2013 and Obama didn't do jack shit about it. That was a whole thing about red lines and stuff that if Putin crosses the red line, well, blah, 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 and then fucking we didn't do anything about it because we didn't want to fucking rattle that cage. We didn't want to go to war with Russia. But that ethics report was supposed to be released on Matt Gaetz on Friday, not being released. The House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, thinks it should be released.
I want to ask you now about that report that the House Ethics Committee was set to vote on to release into former Congressman Matt Gaetz, of course, President-elect Trump's pick to be the next Attorney General. Speaker Johnson is now saying that the report should not be released. What's your reaction to what Speaker Johnson is saying?
Of course it should be released, and that's not just Democrats saying that. You have repeatedly seen Senate Republicans make clear who are on the Senate Judiciary Committee or throughout that.
No flash because he resigned. No, it said in his resignation that he didn't plan on whatever, however it was worded.
That chamber say that they want access to all of
that he wasn't going to assume office,
so they can make a decision about whether the nominee for Attorney General is qualified to serve in that office. The Senate has a clear responsibility to serve as a separate and co-equal branch of government.
Now, I do not see why the Senate, a senator during the Senate confirmation hearings, couldn't request that report from the House. But I guess it would still be up to Johnson to release it. Could the Senate subpoena it?
And a check and balance. That's as America as baseball, motherhood, and apple pie.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about.
Shut up, Lester. And shut up, Jeffries. That baseball apple pie fucking bullshit. All right, that'll do it for the politics tonight. We're going to move into the crime section. Are you calling me Angry Ghost? Who, me? Jeffries? What are you talking about? What's a hot take? What is my hot take? Yeah, I'll debate on Discord. I'll debate on phone, Discord. I've had some dumb leftists in a Facebook group I'm in. What do you want to debate me on? You can try. I mean, go look at my YouTube channel. You will see that either convert people or the chat makes me hang up on them because they're so goddamn dumb. How do you figure, Bagheera? Why don't you call in and have a conversation with me? Tell me how I'm the worst. With my critical thinking and facts. I will say that if you watch the Rob Noah debate, neither of us come out of that looking good. There's a couple others. The Destiny one. I was too laid back on that one. I should have been more hyped up because Destiny was hyped up. And I even went into that one like, hey, I'm going to hang back. I'm just going to try to get some jokes in. I'm not going to try to, make a point or anything. And I don't think I came across that. You're the one wanting to debate. I let people pick the topic because that's how confident I am in myself. What color, Torchy? Did you pick a color? Haunted toe tag. Trump is my daddy? What a weird fucking fetish you must have. He's totally not my daddy. Maybe he's yours.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Josephus. Thank you for being a freaking follower, toe tag. I got changed to a green bandana here. I'm glad it's not on the top of the pile. Easy on me. Oh my god, I'm seeing every color but green. And I've got like 3 different green ones. God damn it. I'm a classical conservative, so that just means I'd use violence instead of being able to have an actual conversation with you because I've got stunted emotional development. Boom. Is the phone ringing? Did I hear the phone ring? Nope, nope. Never mind. Maybe I'm hearing things. It's my tinnitus. That was on Holiday's End. All right, green bandana. All right, so we have reached the crime portion of the show. We're done with the politics. The next three are really horrific stories. So if you don't want to hear them, give me about 10, 15 minutes. Are you really wanting to debate 5? Are you in the Discord? Are you calling in? Let me know, or otherwise we'll get to the crime stories. Oh shit. I sure can. What's up, Steve?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I can't complain. How's it going with you?
Hanging in there, enjoying my Sunday before work.
Hell yeah. What kind of work you do?
I do software development.
Interesting. Have you done any like cool apps or anything I'd know of?
Not that you know of, no, but I support like my company with their analytics and stuff. So I write code that looks at their data, their sales data, does visuals and does like modeling of it and tries to help them become more efficient.
So brother, I do video editing, and you have no clue how many fucking sales aggregate blah 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 fucking videos I've made over the last like 4 or 5 years, like the Oasis workflow plugin, blah blah blah, for WordPress, or what was that one fucking thing I made for it was some data company, and they had like a thing you logged in, and it had all your analytics, you blah blah blah. I don't know shit about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I make good videos.
Have you done anything for Salesforce?
I think so, yeah. I think that's one of the things I've made. Or like a plug-in for Salesforce or something like that. I just do the videos. I don't know what goes into them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes they'll let me I'll have to log into the software, and I'll do this just because it's easier for me to do the screen recording than to have them send me shit and stuff. But like most of the time, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
So you want to do a debate?
Well, what do you want to debate?
I guess that's
you're the one who was excited for it.
I mean, let's talk immigration, but I'm mostly just trying to understand the other side. And so if I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate,
the other side,
like I lean probably more towards your side, but I want to try to understand the Republican side more, because I think it's a good thing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are industries in America, like, for example, roofing industries, any type of agriculture, anything. Usually there's either migrant workers or Hispanic workers, whatever, that are staffing a lot of the work. And I used to work in construction, and a lot of the actual people doing the labor were, you know, Hispanic or minority races. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just trying to observe and realize that people come to this nation because we are the land of opportunity. And so we need to talk more about how can we still be viewed as the land of opportunity and we're not going to, with immigration, you don't always get the best and brightest. And a lot of people who have money, who have education, who are coming here or who are qualified for H-1B, they come here and they work, right? But then we need also people like the laborers, right, to come here and work. The thing is that I can also try to understand the other side and see like, well, millions of people crossing the border and illegal entry points isn't a good thing. And it's also they're taken advantage of by the cartels.
The first thing that we need to address is that a lot of the people. So we've seen a wave of migration from like Honduras and Guatemala, Venezuela. Those are countries that our policies in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know what a banana republic is, right?
Yeah.
A country that's set up, you know, on behalf of a fucking fruit company in South America or whatever. Like, they are fleeing the result of U.S. policy, and they're seeking asylum, and asylum is legal. So most of the millions that we have seen are actually very legal and not.
But my question to you is should you be able to seek asylum in country, or are you able to go to the United States then seek asylum? Because I did have friend who came to America 2002. He's a Kurdish of Syria. He'll say that's where he's from, but he had to stay at the embassy in Syria to wait for his trial before being able to cross the border. So I think that's one thing I understand why a lot of Republicans don't like the fact that you can just cross the border then seek asylum. I think they want to have the ability to start the process in country. Now, again, on your end,
well, if you're fleeing violence, hey, like if you have a destabilized country that is, let's say we're talking about Honduras and it's ran by fucking death squads that we installed, what embassy process are you going to be able to go through?
Yeah, I can see that.
Now
I can see that could be a problem.
I you know, you break it down in economics and everything, but like I break it down as like fucking freedom, and this is what right-wingers are supposedly all about, is personal freedom. And this is the way I always fucking stop them dead in their tracks. It's like, you feel that you should be able to live in whatever country you want to, right? Because you have freedom, free movement as a person. And every single one of them will always say yes. Because they feel as a white person in America, they should be entitled to move wherever they want in the world. Why they don't feel that should be afforded to other people is beyond me.
That's an interesting take.
Well, like you look at a.
I don't see it like that. I see it like you have to go through whatever process the country you're going and would do it, and I think we have a horrible process.
We do have a horrible process, and that's when right wingers talk about the crisis at the border. The crisis is that we don't have enough judges and immigration lawyers, and any immigration lawyer will tell you that has nothing to do with and people in cages, kids in cages, family separation. That is all a result of we don't have a process to get people through easily.
Whenever I hear someone like them talk about it, it sounds to me like they just want to basically like cut the ability to do it, but they hide it behind those words of saying we want it to be quote unquote legal, but in reality their intention, reading between the lines, to me it sounds like they just want to cut off immigration.
Well, you know what demagoguery is, right?
What is that?
Is when you demonize a minority group in order to gin up support among your group. So the right wing loves to demagogue immigrants. They love to demagogue trans people. And like, if you don't know a trans person, if you don't know an immigrant, you might not be likely to sympathize with them. So it's an effective strategy politically.
That's fair, but I know Hispanics who have immigrated here, they legally have that same view.
That is an issue with the Latino and Latino community. They tend to be conservative, and that's one of the things that drives me wild about Republicans is that they demonize Latinos instead of trying to appeal to them, because they do tend to be conservative because they come from usually Catholic countries. So that's why you saw a lot of them vote for Trump based on abortion in this last election.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I try. Give me something we're going to disagree on. Come on. Let's have a fight. Hit me with your hot take.
Oh, this is tough. I need to think of one. I don't know. I'm in the middle ground though, because I still don't think that you can quote unquote say you're fleeing. You can say you're fleeing oppression or fleeing tyranny, whatever. But there could be people. Not everyone who is fleeing that will be good. So how do you filter that out, or how do you filter that out before they go in country? Is there a way to do that? Because there's bound to be spillage. You can't just assume that everyone who's fleeing will be good. There's bound to be spillage of the people who are doing the oppressing into the thing.
Who cares? Not every American that goes abroad is going to be good.
No,
we've got a fucking story about an American.
Maybe that's the thing we disagree on. Is I could see the other side agreeing they want to protect people from crime or from drugs. There's a lot.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know that crime is the lowest it has ever been in this country?
Probably. It is? No, can't say for certain it is.
It is. It is at historically low levels. Well, I mean, as a country, I don't know. I guess crime would have been lower in the 1780s because they weren't keeping track of it or whatever. But crime right now, historically low. So if we've had millions of immigrants over the last 4 or 5 years and crime has gone down, I mean, what's the issue?
Yeah, that's fair. I can agree with you on that. Okay, yeah. Well, an interesting thing would be, what if you try to instill a better government in these places that they're freeing from, instead of just sitting down and just letting it be?
Well, that would be wonderful if the
responsible for
United States actually did spread democracy instead of spreading capitalism.
Yeah.
Because we got a real bad habit of doing that. We're spreading democracy to Iraq, but we let a bunch of defense contractors and oil companies take it over.
Well, that was a whole mess.
Yeah. So we're not good at nation building. We've never been good at nation building.
I had friends who worked over there, and they were in what is it called? Not this. I think they were civil. There's a thing.
Civil engineers or something?
It's kind of like civil engineers, but it's for the military. But then here's the thing. Great thing about tax dollars. These people were like, okay, we're going to build a corn processing plant because we want these people to switch from the native crops to corn because it's lower. And the reasons were it was low resource. So less water to use to grow. But the thing is that they never studied the culture to understand what it would take to convince these people to change. And in the end, they never changed. So we spent $50 million on building this processing plant for corn production. Think about once you grow the corn, you need to process it.
Yeah.
That's what it does. And it just sat there. Another one was we were trying to give building infrastructure, stuff like that. But what we didn't realize is how expensive the energy cost was going to be. So we gave these people washers and dryers. And they used it 1 month, got the energy bill back, and basically used it like a paperweight because they couldn't afford it. So there's a mismatch. So it doesn't even matter what. You have to understand the culture before you try to make a change like this. Is the point.
You have to understand our culture, and somebody made money off of that. Some fucking corn company, some industrial company over here made money off of our government building that. Some, GE giving out those washers and dryers made money off of our government doing that. It had nothing to do with trying to help these people. It had to do with private companies in the U.S. trying to siphon public money into their pockets. And that is what we are going up against with everything. What you're describing is capitalism. You don't have a problem. We don't have a problem with not understanding cultures. We have a problem with capitalism.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say it could be a capital, but I don't think isn't it illegal to receive kickbacks if you're in the and you're in the position of a military commander or whatever?
Well, yeah, if you're a military commander, it's not illegal for GE to receive a government contract to give out a bunch of washers and dryers, though, is it?
I know, but who's making that decision? It's the failure of the decision maker to say, yes, this is okay to do, not necessarily GE trying to be profitable.
Oh, it's some bureaucrat in Washington that's going to go to work for GE afterwards, or some lobbyist from GE that's saying, oh, this would be a good idea. You know, it sounds good to give washers and dryers to people. This would be a good idea. You guys should give us $10 billion to do this. It's great. We can go over and give all these washers and dryers to people. But they're just caring about getting money from our government.
Yeah, that's a whole issue I have. I want to get your thoughts on that. Is how do you make that better, or do you just abolish it entirely?
Well,
I think the incentive structure here. Hear me out. This is why I think Trump wants to enable. I think what is it called, GOAT or whatever, or not GOAT?
Doge.
But here's the thing: in the government, you're usually awarded if you spend exactly what you're allotted to, or even sometimes if you request more than what was originally budgeted to you. But in private industry and profit industry, you want to try to be under budget and either on time or before time or
The
whatever.
fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm telling. Wait, listen, hear me out.
Brother, have you ever worked in private industry that are under budget?
If you're trying to do good,
who's trying to do good? People are trying to make money out here. They're not.
Wait, so if you budget, like, let's say you budget a project for $500 million, and it goes and it costs $700 million. And then the revenue it brings in is only $600 million. You're in the red. You're not making a profit. That's simple math. But what I'm saying is that you want to try to meet or there's no.
We're talking about contracting here. We're not talking about like the contractor made their profit.
I'm trying to draw the parallel between why it's so different to work in the contracting versus actual like a private industry is because you're not rewarded if you go under budget. You're not rewarded with more money. Congress will look at you and say, okay, we allowed you $2 million, but only spend 1.5. Well, instead of rewarding you, they're like, okay, great, we're going to give you that $500K next year. They're going to be like, no, we're going to take it back, and now you're only going to get 1.5 million. That's the incentive structure they're working in. So they're fighting for as much money as they can instead of actually trying to be resourceful with it.
But that's capitalism.
I don't see it. Capitalism would try to be making a profit, right?
Try to make as much money as you can.
But the thing is that if I'm a budgeting office in the U.S. government and I'm allotted $2 million, but then my program only needs to spend $1.5 million.
But why do you think the budgeting office is the people that are overspending and not the contractors?
Because the budgeting office allocates the amount of money they're willing to spend on something.
Okay, and you don't think the contractor's like, oh, we're over budget, give us more money constantly?
But there's no incentive on the government side to check them and be like, no, we're not. You're not getting more.
I agree. That's why we shouldn't have private contractors. There is nothing that our military can't do and do better and more efficiently. There's no reason to have government contractors other than it is a scam to get public dollars into the hands of private entities.
Well, I guess maybe, potentially.
No, it's true. Our Army used to do a lot of the things that they now contract out for. Eisenhower warned about this, the rise of the military congressional industrial complex. It's all about money because you've got multiple things going on here because you've got like a congressman that has a weapons manufacturer in his district, and that brings jobs to his district. So he's incentivized to make sure that weapons manufacturer stays there, and they're happy. He may not be getting a kickback for it, but he has an incentive to keep it in his district, you see? And then we need a reason to, make more bombs. So we need to go over and cause conflicts. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
It's all the capitalistic incentive.
But but the congressman could be like, we're only budgeting you $1.5 million to make 10 widgets instead of 2.
And then they'll say, oh, we're going to go over to the blah blah blah's district.
But then, yeah. But is there no one able to compete to be able to do that, to meet those requirements? Like, is it that
compete, man? You're talking about like a handful of Raytheon and Boeing, and they're all colluding with each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think I think it's both. I don't think you could just blame industry. I think it's both. I think it's the people who are writing the check as well as.
Well, yeah. Because industry has put people into government that agree. That's what you hear people all the time talk about. Fucking like Trump, like, oh, we need to run it like a businessman. I've got business experience. Like that's all that the politicians have been doing for the last 50 years. That's what we just did the story. They're putting the what was it? The energy secretary is a former oil executive. So it's just a scam to try to get your tax dollars into private hands. That's the battle that we're fighting.
But what incentive do the people who are choosing how much tax dollars to put into private hands have to be efficient?
They don't. They do.
That's what I'm trying to argue, is that there's no reward for being efficient. So
well, that's it. Okay. Oh.
Be efficient?
Well, that comes from they have to face consequences as elected officials, and we have a dumb fuck population that doesn't know how to hold elected officials accountable. Instead, they've been so propagandized to think that, oh, jobs in my district is a good thing. Building more bombs is a good thing.
Yeah, but is spending $60K on a bag of bolts really a good thing? Because you've seen that. There's been congressmen that brought bags of bolts and said, we spent $60,000 on this 10 bags of bolts, or even just like for like some of the
well, I don't hold on. I could imagine that there's bolts that NASA has to use that may cost $70,000. You know, I mean, I need more information, and whenever you hear something like that, you should always want more information, because like Rand Paul, he constantly is like, this study wasted blah 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 money, and then like you go look up the study, like, oh, that was actually pretty useful. We probably should be funding that. I have a real problem with people having opinions on things that they don't understand.
Okay, it was a bag of bushings, but anyway.
A bag of what?
Waste. It was a bag of bushings.
Bushings? What are bushings?
Yeah, I'll send you the clip.
But I mean,
Where should I put this clip?
But
should
did
I
you
DM it to you?
You can DM it to me, or you can send it to the troll chat. But like, what were they being used for? Like, why do you hear that claim and not want to investigate it? Because my first thought process was, well, why did they cost $70,000? Maybe they're special. Maybe they're used because, like, you know, I did some work for a plastics company that makes, you know, foam insulation and shit. That shit was really expensive because it had to be able to perform at fucking high temperatures because it blah blah blah. You know, well, if it's on a nuclear sub or something and it has to, or if it's on an F-22, it needs to hold up under the speed of sound. Like, there's shit that goes into this.
I watched what this guy said. And...
What guy? What guy? Was it a politician?
Yes.
Was it a Republican politician?
Yeah, it was Michael Waltz.
Oh, is Michael Waltz a Trump administration pick? Okay. So that doesn't make you a little skeptical.
Oh yeah, it does a bit. But I think he has a point though, and I can see his point that we do overspend.
Well, we do, and it's because we use private contractors.
You say that is but it's the thing is both sides. It's the people who write the check.
There's no both sides.
Because you could regulate how much they can actually charge for these.
But that would require an informed electorate that would punish politicians for being shitty. We don't have that.
Yeah, so we have people who believe that tariffs are gonna save us all.
We have people that believe that crime is at historic highs when it's at historic lows. We have people that believe that fucking the stock market has crashed under Biden instead of reaching multiple record highs. We have people that don't believe that, you know, we produce more oil than any country on the face of the planet right now. And like, how do I get through to people that just believe nonsense? I can't get facts through to them.
Stuff. But what? So you're saying that the only way that we can have more, the only way that these budgeting offices will be able to act more efficiently is if we had an informed electorate.
Yeah, that will punish politicians for being shitty. Don't you think that's the mechanism, right? What, you think politicians are just going to do the right thing out of the goodness of their hearts?
No.
Exactly. And I don't
think it'll ever happen.
I get onto the left
If you want to talk realistic, about how we can actually be cutting the budget and making efficiencies, this.
Why do we need to cut? Whoa. You're coming from a place that you feel that we need to cut the budget. Why do we need to cut the budget?
The debt ceiling is too high. That's a lot of economists are saying that there's no reason why the debt ceiling is so high unless you think we're in a recession. They're saying if we're not in the economists are arguing that if we're not.
Well, the debt ceiling and the debt are two different things. Dude, first of all, like, and this is one of those things that I always have to do with everybody. Do you know who we're in debt to?
You could say ourselves, because Americans are the highest.
Thank you. Our debt is our money supply. We live in what is called a fractured reserve banking system. This is Alexander Hamilton's gift to us. So debt is basically our currency. Now, and there are plenty of people in the chat that will disagree with me. I think that increasing the money supply is a bad thing and devalues our currency. But if you don't increase the money supply, you have to tax people. There's no way around it. Because what we're seeing right now is we're letting billionaires and soon to be trillionaires suck so much money out of our economy that we have to print more dollars to keep the economy going. Because we refuse to tax them.
Why Musk wanted Trump to win, because he didn't come out with his proposal to tax, was it unrealized gains tax on 100 million or above portfolio value?
Well, yeah.
He didn't like that, so that's why Musk is sucking Trump's dick.
Yeah, of course. And that should automatically raise red flags for you.
No, it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. I agree with you more than I disagree. I'm just trying to understand the other side, which is why I.
Well, the other side. The first thing about the other side is they're goddamn stupid. That's the first thing you need to understand. They voted for Trump, man. Do you not find that man just appalling in every single way?
I guess so, but that argument didn't hold up well. That was basically. I think we use that too much. Instead of actually explaining why these things don't work, we just argue that he's a bad.
Buddy, if Trump supporters believe that crime is at historic highs, not historic lows, there's no arguing with them.
So there's no. You don't think there's any way to convince them? I mean, they're working on a faulty premise. So can't you show the premise is false and then?
Have you ever been able to convince a Trump supporter of a fact that you know to be true?
Yeah, I can see that. So then the real question,
brother, I have people coming on here and telling me that they voted for Trump. Hold on. I have people coming on here and telling me they voted for Trump in order to get rid of Epstein's friends. Do you know the problem with that?
Literally, he's an Epstein.
Exactly. Okay, sorry I cut you off, man.
So that here's the real question: if you fundamentally assume that we cannot convince the other side that they're wrong or change their mind, then we needed to have more turnout. How come we did not get enough turnout? Like they were saying, 11 million votes were a lot less than what we were expecting from 2020. Democrats are around that figure. So why was there no? Now there was one argument from a Republican friend of mine saying that they were doing, if this was legal, but they were doing door knocking operations where they're like, hey, can we help you sign up? Hey, can we help you vote? Do you need help doing your mail-in ballot? Because during 2020, more mail-in ballot, I think it was, I don't know, there was something with regulation with mail-in ballots 2020 and COVID that allowed them to do more or something. I don't know. I guess I don't think every state, this could be, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think every state allows for mail-in ballots, but I think during COVID, every state did. So I don't know how that works or what, but there was some way of getting more people voting, and we had 11 more million turnout than now. I don't know, people apathetic? Where people just didn't like the fact that the DNC got Kamala Harris on the ticket? Or what? But okay, so that's the thing. If you can't convince the other people, if you're fundamental, which I disagree, I think that there are some moderates that you could have convinced.
The moderates are already voting for Biden or Harris or whatever. Like that, the data shows that.
So then how could we have gotten more turnout, or else it would have just been a loss? Because I can't see any other way. Like, how else do you win if it's not a turnout issue and you can't convince?
I think you're looking at it the wrong way. So, in pretty much the entire world, there has been a backlash against the system. And they're backlashing against capitalism. Capitalism isn't working for people. And they don't. It's just a voting against incumbency, and I think that was the mood in 2020, and Trump caught it. I think I'm more convinced of that now than ever, that it was just voting against the people in power because the system.
Saying the same thing. Democrats had low turnout, and Trump had 3 million. I think 3 million less than what he got in 2020.
Yeah.
So you can say that they're voting against capitalism, but the thing is that Kamala, in my opinion, was very much a status quo. We keep things the status quo. But if you looked at Biden's approval rating, it was what, 20%? So I don't understand why anyone at DNC didn't say, "Oh, we need to differentiate ourselves from Biden. Look at his approval rating at the easiest metric. We need to differentiate ourselves." There was like barely any differentiation.
Here's the thing: is like it's hard to Monday morning quarterback this. Is I feel very bad for Harris because she was put in an impossible situation. It was Joe Biden's decision whether to run or not. I mean, I know the Democrats forced him out after the debate, but ultimately it was his. He could have stayed in if he wanted to, but I mean, they were just going to keep coming out, against him if he didn't step down. So Harris probably should have thrown him under the bus and really distinguished herself from him. But I mean, she's part of the administration. She was serving in the administration while she's campaigning. And this is coming from because I know a lot of politicians. I've done news for 25 years, so I've met a hell of a lot of politicians. I know Mitch McConnell personally. I knew Jim Bunning, the senator from. I worked in Kentucky. I knew Senator Jay Rockefeller and Senator Robert Byrd. So these things aren't far away from me, right? They've been demystified for me. I understand how politics work. I've met people that work in campaigns. So I kind of come at it from somebody if I was running Kamala's campaign with 60 days, and and I've admitted that I was wrong, that I kind of thought her strategy of trying to appeal to the right with the Liz Cheney, I thought I had doubts. Fucking Sam Cedar was the same way. He had his doubts, but hey, if it works, good for him. It didn't work. Because I kept having the conversation with one of my leftist friends, how do you animate 30,000 people in Pennsylvania? I can tell you how Harris can run a leftist campaign and animate 3 million more people in California, but that doesn't win her the election. She has to animate 30,000 more people in Pennsylvania, and that's a trickier proposition.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Differentiation probably would have been the thing. There was none, and so you could say that she was a sitting president, but a vice president. But even then, the vice doesn't have.
Well, traditional politics would tell you that you have an incumbency advantage.
Yeah.
But once again, this is results all over the world. The incumbency is being rejected. In Britain, the Conservatives were in power. They got booted by a historic margin for the Liberals.
I think we saw it in Germany too.
We're seeing it all over the world.
Yeah.
That people are rejecting the current order. I don't think, because one of the things that I don't understand is how you think Trump is going to make things better for you. Because he's just going to hand everything over to the CEOs and the billionaires, put fucking industry in charge, deregulation, fucking break unions, do everything he can to fucking harm workers. So I don't understand. I understand the backlash against the system. I don't understand why it would be why you would go for Trump. But once again, we have an uninformed electorate.
Really, it's either Trump or not voting.
And we have an uninformed electorate. And that's hard.
But it's hard because it's hard because you only have two options in our system. It's not like there's ranked choice voting and you can get a mix of everything. It's not. It's usually the two main. It's a bipartisan system, so you have two main players. And if you want change, you either don't vote because you're going to vote to keep the status quo, or you vote for the other guy.
Well, I also feel like you're only looking at it with a presidential vote, and I'm like, nope. The choices that put Biden in place to be the nominee in 2020 happened fucking 20, 30 years ago. This is a long game. If you want other options, you have to build them at the ground level. And the fucking Libertarian Party, the Green Party, they have lost ground. The DSA is actually making up ground, so I highly recommend getting involved with them. So, that has to come from the ground up. You can't just show up every 4 years and vote. And once again, that's getting back to the electorate is uninformed. And this is on purpose. The Republicans have been attacking education for 50 fucking years, if not longer. Because they don't want people that think critically. That's why you see them. I don't want to bash trade schools. We see, we should promote trade schools. Well, trade schools don't teach you critical thinking. I'm sure it's great for some people, but also what's the thing before a BS or a BA? Associate's degree. An associate's degree will teach you critical thinking skills. God damn it. You need that. So I don't know. I'm just a fucking comedian with a YouTube show and mild intelligence, and I would rather be making dick and fart jokes, but unfortunately the world is forcing me to talk about serious issues.
So do you think that if, in your ideal, if everyone had critical thinking, then we would be more left-leaning?
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean by left-leaning? I mean, people tend to be more liberal in the sense of the word that, defends liberties, tends to like markets. Leftists don't like markets as much. Want more of a government hand in things. And that's me, too. I don't believe in full-on communism. I believe in a regimented economy. Certain things capitalism works great for. Fucking 2 Italian restaurants competing against each other. That's great. Let that happen. Fucking 2 coat makers competing against each other. Cool. But things like energy need to be handled by the government. Things like healthcare need to be handled by the government. Other things like manufacturing, I think the government should facilitate the workers owning the manufacturing base. Because if the workers own a factory and run it as a co-op, they aren't going to outsource their jobs. They're not going to lay people off.
Yeah, but even then, I see that there's going to be a point in time in which our labor is going to be so expensive that it just doesn't make economic sense to keep having that industry going.
What do you mean?
I think U.S. Steel has had some hit recently because it's just the labor costs are too expensive for the price of goods. That's why, isn't it everything about opportunity cost or the opportunity cost of the salary?
I know we're producing more steel now, so I'm not exactly sure about.
Maybe that's not a good example.
I'm not sure about the steel industry because there was, the Trump tariffs, and we've actually brought manufacturing back. Oh, the chat is mad at me. They want full-on communism. But don't you want workers to make as much money as possible?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's good for the economy. When workers have money to spend, it's good for the economy, right?
It is.
So we want high wages.
And they haven't been growing. Well, this is a problem that's
they actually have
across. Yeah, but it's across administrations, right?
For people under 40, the wages have skyrocketed over like the last 5 years. For people over 40, they haven't. And I think that also played into the Trump phenomenon in this election.
But even then, you would expect those people over 40 to have a higher earning power because they have more experience in whatever market that they're working in, right? So they would be paid more because they have more years of experience.
Well, we are seeing a lot of dead weight in our at your company. Haven't you seen people that aren't productive that have been there forever? They're collecting a paycheck, and some dumb boomer that fucking doesn't know how to do a PDF and probably shouldn't still have their job.
I think in the bigger companies, that's probably more true.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a lot of bloat.
But did they deserve not to work? Or what should you expect from them?
Well, I can say that in my industry, I had to leave my industry just because there were all these people occupying these jobs that were gonna die. Like they're like the production manager at the TV station I worked at. He'll be there another 20 or 30 years, and there's no way for me to move up there. The last TV station I worked at.
You do have to leave, but I think that's true in a lot of industries too, is that they see that there's more, you get higher wage increases changing.
And it shouldn't be that way. A company should reward you for staying with them for years and shit, right?
But they don't have the incentive. What incentive do they have to reward you? If they know you're willing to do the job for $70,000 a year, what incentives do they have to give you 20% raise?
And that's the exact reason why in 10 years they go out of fucking business, because they ran off all their good employees.
Yeah, that's fair.
All studies show paying employees more produces a better company. Like when the minimum wage went up in Seattle, they studied it, and all these restaurants actually did better business because they had happier workers.
But then again, you got to realize the incentive structures that these executives are in. They're in short-term gain, not long-term prosperity, right?
That's capitalism. You're upset about capitalism. I silence. All right, what's something we're going to disagree on. Give me your hot take.
You give me something. All right. Yeah, you give me something. What is it? What is it that you see that we're not doing right?
Here is the hot take that everyone always gets upset with me over. Here, I'm going to lay it on you. Sammy Hagar was better than David Lee Roth.
Oof.
Oh, you got an argument?
Nah, I think they're past my time.
Oh, what? What? Are you too young for Van Halen?
No, I haven't really listened to a lot of this stuff.
Ah, damn. I'm getting old, aren't I? Oh, shit. No, Van Halen was not the one with the one-armed drummer. That's Def Leppard. Okay, let me...
12. Chat says I'm 12. Hey, chat.
Yeah, you're what, around 30?
27.
Okay, cool. Around 30, that sounds about right. Let me come up with a better one here. What's a good hot take I have? Billie Eilish sucks now. First album really good. This last album sucked ass. What the fuck happened to Billie Eilish? Don't tell me you're too young to fucking have an opinion on Billie Eilish. Come on.
Nah, I don't listen to her.
What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of electronic music.
Electronic music? Who's your favorite electronic artist?
Let's see. I go through phases like everyone.
Oh, of course.
I liked Deadmau 5.
Ooh, okay. I really jammed out to the Gray album there, the Jay-Z White Album remix. That was fucking up. That's probably
that
before.
was good.
Oh, you know it. Okay, cool. Because I was like, oh wait a minute, that's the beginning of the 2000s. You were still a baby.
I had when I was in middle school. I still had an what is it? The iPod. It was an iPod Nano, and I remember getting on. It was either LimeWire or FrostWire. Getting Eminem's album on there, 8 Mile. I don't know if you remember that era.
What, the Eminem song?
Yeah, the 8 Mile album.
Fucking okay. He was at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and they started doing the "Forgot About Dre" intro, and then he ended up doing the 8 Mile song, and I got so pissed. I was like, I would much rather hear "Forgot About Dre" than the goddamn 8 Mile, the Mom Spaghetti song. Steve, my man, it's been fun talking to you, but I'm gonna get off here because I wanted to play video games by now and
do it. All right, good talking to you.
What's your favorite video game? What do you play?
I play a lot of either RuneScape or classic World of Warcraft.
Oh, RuneScape, you're on the PC then.
Yeah, I'm PC gamer.
Okay,
I used to play. I grew up playing Xbox. Grew up playing Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3, stuff like that. Then I got into RuneScape because RuneScape was cheaper than World of Warcraft, and now I'm older and have my own money. I can pay the $15 for WoW, so I don't feel bad about it.
I would probably really get into MMOs if I didn't have such an addictive personality and would just like completely shut off everything in my life.
Yeah, that's fair. It can take over your life. You get second job.
Yeah.
Especially if you go at the high level, if you want to play at the high level, like if you're that type of person where when you do something, you need to do it the best you can do, you're looking at least 20 hours a week plus.
Yep. And like, if I was smart, I'd probably do it on stream and play those and make some money at it. But, you know, I don't really want to monetize one of my favorite hobbies.
Yeah. We should definitely talk more. I still want to talk to you about, like, efficiency on, like, the government side with regards to, like, programs. Because I think there's talk about it. I think the way that Trump wants to go about it is the wrong way. But I do think that there needs to be better.
Well, Trump's a dumbass, so of course it's going to be the wrong way.
I think that there's a way that we need to figure it out. I think there's a way we can crack the nut.
Well, I mean, like, when you say inefficiency, like, exactly what are you talking about?
Like, if you look at, like, program managers, and let's say you're a program manager for, I don't know, we'll just make something up.
Well, we'd start with the Pentagon, I would hope.
Yeah, we could start there. But even then,
they just said they failed another fucking audit.
Yeah, and it's they need to get like an accounting firm in there to actually like figure out the data that they need to track in order to be able to actually pass an audit, right?
Well, they don't want to pass the audit. They want to keep fucking scamming money out of us.
Yeah. All in the name of national security, right?
That's the game, my friend. That's the game. We need to educate the populace, and then we can get over this. Yeah, that's another place. Flash brings it up. All the subsidies that we give to, like, we subsidize ExxonMobil, one of the most profitable companies in the history of the world. We still subsidize them.
Isn't it funny? We subsidize Musk. The Democrats subsidized Musk during Obama administration. Now he's completely turning on against the Democrats.
Oh, I know, son. I know.
Fuck you, son. I got mine.
I know. Well, that's all Republican policies. I got mine. That's pretty much all it boils down to. All right, Steve, I appreciate you, my man. Have a good night. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Hope I didn't keep you up too late. Fun time. I didn't run Byronikoff, did I? You got pissed off at me talking shit about Billie Eilish. I just did not like I've only heard like the 2 singles so far. I haven't heard the whole album. I shouldn't have bashed the whole album. Oh. I'm sorry. I just apparently liked Billie Eilish better when she was fucking 17 or something. That sounded weird. That sounded really... Cancel Justin. Let's get back to the news. Ducky, good evening. Anybody else that snuck in on me, say hey so I can give you a what's up. Content warning for like the next 3 or 4 stories. It's a little graphic, especially this next one. A 72-year-old pastor only given a $20,000 bond, even though he was charged with raping a kid.
A former Columbus pastor accused of raping a juvenile. 72-year-old George Bell given a $20,000 bond today.
Bell stepping away from the Anchor Baptist Church back in early July. Now he faces 4 counts of rape and 2 of gross sexual imposition.
Not a drag queen.
Now with more on the investigation.
George Bell enters the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas after a grand jury indicted him on 4 counts of rape and 2 counts of gross sexual imposition. CPD says that there is only one victim. Court documents say
fair enough, Flesh.
Under the age of 13. Bell pleaded not guilty and given a $20,000 bond. Conditions include using a phone, but only to talk to his attorney. No contact with the victim. Bell served as pastor at the Anchor Baptist Church. He cited personal reasons for stepping away in July after 35 years.
Personal reasons.
Scraped off the buses, and former members of the church who were close with Bell are reacting to the news from his indictment in the middle of October.
It feels a little bit like a betrayal. I know that I was misled for a long time, and my eyes.
Honey, all churches are nothing but organized pedophile rings. I keep saying it. I don't know why anybody doesn't listen to me.
Are opened up to that now, and I feel guilty having been part of that environment and that culture.
Adam Freed was a member at the Anchor Baptist Church for close to 27 years. Overall, he feels
relief.
For the victims, the church releasing a statement saying, in part, as a church, we are committed to full transparency and to the truth throughout the process. We have been and continue to fully cooperate with any law enforcement and the justice system. The next court date has yet to be set. Church administrators indicate that they're trying to be transparent, but some in the community question if that's the case. We will continue to demand answers.
Well, I'm sure it's not the case.
As Bell's case makes it through the legal system. On your side in Columbus, Nick Veland, ABC 6 News.
I'm sure it's not the case they're being transparent. This happened in California. I think it was on Friday. It might have happened on Thursday, and I just didn't hear about it until Friday. Smokey, I can't see the monitor. Smokey, I can't see the monitor. All right, now I can see the monitor. A security guard gunned down a couple in California moments before a hearing over a restraining order involving him.
His 26-year-old Christopher Farrell had worked as a security guard contracted by MTS until a month ago. CBS 8's David Gottfredson joins us live from the downtown courthouse with details of court records that point to a love triangle as the motive for the murders. Good evening, David.
Yes, it's hard to believe that the gunman who shot and wounded a Harbor police officer himself was a recently fired MTS security officer. Police shot and killed him in Little Italy yesterday morning, but he's also accused earlier that morning of murdering a couple inside their vehicle just a block away from the downtown courthouse. All 3 of them were set to appear for a restraining order hearing. In this cell phone video, you can see a man in a green shirt hiding by an electrical box in Little Italy, right before the sound of multiple gunshots ring out.
Are you implying you want a titty slap?
A titty slap!
Come on now.
Harbor police officer is wounded in the shootout, and the gunman is hit multiple times. Officers
Steals ambitions. Welcome in.
And kick his gun away. The 26-year-old
Look at that wordplay.
at the hospital.
I hear, put the gun down, and then just a firefight started, and I just jumped the fence.
I jumped the fence.
Records that identify the gunman as Christopher Farrell, who until a month ago worked as an MTS security officer under contract with the agency. A husband and wife who lived in the Memorial neighborhood both had filed restraining orders against him last month after Farrell allegedly had a brief affair with the wife, who is also a mother of 4. The married couple, 39-year-old Jose Medina and 31-year-old Rachel Martinez, were gunned down inside their Toyota Camry, allegedly by Farrell, as they arrived by the downtown courthouse to appear for that restraining order.
Fuck.
Shots rang out about 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, about a
Well, I guess we see why they needed a restraining order on him.
half hour before the scheduled court hearing. I'm with Channel 8. San Diego police officers were still on the scene Thursday on Tonawanda Drive in Paradise Hills, where neighbors tell me Farrell lived in this trailer for the past few months.
Did you ever have any problems with him?
No,
Police
no.
there or anything?
No, not at all. He just kept to himself, parked his car right across from his trailer, and then walked in his trailer and never heard a peep from him.
The trailer was the scene
Always the quiet ones.
sexual assault in September involving the wife, Rachel Martinez. In her
What?
restraining order application, Martinez alleged Farrell handcuffed her and made her perform oral sex on him inside the trailer. A police report was taken. Farrell was arrested on October 4th, according to jail records, but police say because of insufficient evidence, criminal charges were never filed.
Wow.
Farrell was fired from his job as an MTS security officer, and his work firearm was taken from him last month following that report of the sexual assault inside the trailer.
This is a pursuit suspect. We unfortunately do not have the full pursuit. But for like the third or fourth, fifth time in the last few months, a car has gone through the roof of a house.
All right, more breaking news to tell you about. A pursuit ends with a crash in Culver City. Let's go now to Justin O'Brien in Skyfox. What do you know, Justin?
Yeah, g'day, Susan again. This vehicle you see here has ended up crashing into this car. It was actually exiting off the Culver City off-ramp from the 405. CHP officers were pursuing this vehicle because the vehicle was driving on the shoulder of the road. Obviously exited the freeway at high speed, crashing into the guardrail and into this house. Unclear if anybody inside the house was injured, but we have seen several people, what I would describe as young people, 2 women and 1 male. You can see there, I'll push into them there. They were inside the vehicle.
Why do we have some Australian dude up in the helicopter?
Believe when it crashed,
Get this man some Vegemite.
refused any medical care. You can see they appeared to have not been injured in this crash. Quite a dramatic crash out here tonight, Susan. Vehicle into this house. We understand that they'll remove that vehicle very soon, but no doubt engineers will have to come and make sure that that house is safe to live in. And just finally, the Culver Boulevard exit from the 405 is closed until this car is removed and the investigation is complete. Live in Culver City. Back to you in the studio, Susan.
All right, Justin. Wow, what a picture.
His name was Justin. They got Justin up in the helicopter covering the police pursuits. Immigrants taking our jobs. Immigrants taking my job specifically. I should be in the helicopter doing play-by-play on these police pursuits. It's clearly the job I was made for. I sure wish we could have seen the police pursuit for this one that happened in Philadelphia. A man went on a forklift rampage.
Well, the investigation into a crime spree involving a forklift is unfolding, and this all happened last night in Delaware County.
Yeah, police say this man, William Martin, stole a forklift from a warehouse and went on a crime spree that involved robbing a Wawa. It ultimately ended with the suspect crashing the forklift into a church. Action News reporter John Paul live at that church where it all ended in Ridley Park with the very latest tonight. John.
Yeah, Rick, Shari, I mean, just a trail of destruction left behind.
He looks so sweet.
So this is the church where it all ended, and these are doors that are now boarded up after that forklift rammed into it.
Wow,
You see these chunks here on the ground? This was part of like an overhang here, so it looks like the forklift was actually up when this forklift rammed into the church. The whole thing started about 2 miles away.
I got a call initially for sellers saying there was a subject driving a forklift doing donuts in the roadway.
Doing donuts in a forklift.
A bizarre call to police in Delaware County Thursday night during a crime spree on a forklift. It's crazy. This is where it came to an end. The side of a church on East Chester Pike in Ridley Park. The doors on the overhang were damaged.
He must have had the forks up pretty high.
Joseph Majidi took the video shortly after the crash, and he walked us through what he saw last night.
I seen a bunch of cop cars with a forklift that was like halfway through the building.
This is the man police say was driving that forklift, William Martin. He was arrested inside of the church. According to documents, he used a fire extinguisher to spray the inside of the sanctuary. According to police, Martin's crime spree spanned a wide area. It started with a theft at Denny's on Industrial Highway in Tinicum Township. Then they say
Who robs a Denny's? Do you, like, if you're thinking of places that have, you know, a lot of cash on hand, are you thinking Denny's?
he stole a forklift from S-Tech nearby and trashed the place before going on a rampage, including ramming a Ford Explorer while doing donuts by the Clarion Hotel and hitting this shuttle bus at Spring Hill Suites. You can see the damage that was done, including large holes ripped in the back where the fork went in. After that, police say he stole from a Wawa before driving away on that forklift and eventually crashing into this church. The whole incident lasted nearly an hour and spanned about 2 miles.
How he made it this far without getting caught.
I'm sorry, was my mic on?
Far away from here, and
shit,
it's a pretty major road you have to take.
Now, Martin does face a long list of charges for all of this. Some of those include burglary, theft, criminal mischief as well. We're live tonight in Ridley.
What that Grand Slam be doing?
News. Rick?
As someone who has spent a lot of time in Waffle Houses, because we have a lot of them in the South, I'd much rather have a Denny's. I will take a Denny's over a Waffle House any day. And now a lot of people in the South will tell me I'm crazy for saying that. People like their Waffle House now. I'm a bit of a food snob, so... Have you never been to, like, the South, Ducky? The Southeast? That's where the Waffle Houses are. Multiple people brought up the Killdozer. Everybody knows that dude was a real asshole, right? Like, he was not justified. Go watch one of the YouTube videos that really does the deep dive into that story. Not justified, because everybody, libertarians like to promote him as like, oh, they pushed him too far with their government regulations. No, he was just a fucking dick. Everyone in the town hated him. Hollywood strip mall burns down. Nearby restaurants and hopefully not a Denny's sustain damage.
Fire tore through an auto parts store in Hollywood, then spread to nearby businesses.
Yeah, this broke out just before 4:30. This is at a strip mall over on the corner of Fountain and Highland. The smoke could be seen for miles as firefighters were fighting these flames. Chris Wolf joining us live from Hollywood now with more on the damage and a possible cause. Chris?
Yeah, that's right. Good evening, Rick and Karine. Thankfully, no one was injured. Look at the scene here. Look at this strip mall. 6 businesses.
Look at this photograph.
Plaza that burned. Much of it is now in rubble. This has been a very difficult situation for all involved.
Oh, man, it damaged the fat sacks.
From the firefighters to the people who worked here to the others who live in this area. Roads had been closed for hours, and that disgusting foul-smelling dark smoke that filled the air was stifling. It sounded like gunfire or fireworks. A series of explosions shattered the early evening calm in a pocket of Hollywood Saturday as an AutoZone auto parts store goes up in flames at a strip mall.
Wait a minute, is it AutoZone?
Fountain Avenues. Fire officials say the disaster started around 4:30 with thick, dark smoke billowing from the location.
What caused it?
In fact, the smoke cloud was so massive, one viewer says it was visible all the way from Seal Beach. The firefight was especially challenging because of a wealth of flammable materials, allowing the blaze to grow quickly. Police closed off several streets in the surrounding area.
Well, inside of an auto store, there's, as one might imagine, there's
batteries,
fluids of all kinds, and so we did set up somewhat.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about all the oil.
Look at that. But constantly, when we're out on the fire ground, we're evaluating our risk versus gain. In this particular situation, that boiling point hit to the point where the risk that we were taking was no longer worth the gain, and so we backed off and went into a defensive mode and made sure the fire didn't spread any further.
Investigators tell us they are not ready to comment on a possible cause. However, KTLA did speak with an employee at AutoZone where the fire started.
We were charging a little battery pack and it just randomly caught fire.
Oh shit.
Putting it out and it just kept spreading, and the way the store is set up, it's just really close to a lot of flammables, so we kind of just had no choice but to evacuate everybody, all the customers. We all got out. It was just a battery pack, something to charge multiple phones at once. I work at Fat Sal's too, so kind of lost both of my incomes.
Oh, Fat Sal's. I thought it said Fat Sacks.
Tough
both his incomes,
especially around the holidays. Again, no one was injured. Arson investigators did arrive on scene as a matter of standard procedure. For now, reporting live in Hollywood, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
All right.
Chris Wolf. A tourist from the United States went to Japan. Showed his fucking ass. It was not Lenny. It was not Lenny. I can verify that. Lenny is safe and in Hong Kong today.
Could this be another case of American tourists behaving badly? Japan's Tokyo Metropolitan Police arrested a 65-year-old American man on suspicion of property damage. Security footage
named Lenny from Boston
Shrine led authorities to this tourist hotel room to apprehend him. Police say the suspect admitted to using his fingernails to carve the initials of his family members into a wooden pillar at the over 100-year-old Shinto shrine.
Wow.
The U.S. Embassy have visited the suspect in jail and say they are providing him and his family with consular assistance. The Meiji Jingu Shrine is a sacred and often tourist-filled location in the heart of Tokyo. Its grounds are home to more than 365 different species of trees and is the site of many religious rites throughout the year. The shrine's website has a section on etiquette for visitors, where the first rule is please preserve the dignity of this sacred place. Under Japan's cultural property protection law, the American suspect could face up to 5 years in prison or a fine of up to 1 million yen, or about $6,500 US. For instance,
oh, the fine sounded so severe until you get to $6,000. The dude's a tourist in Japan. He probably has $6,000 on him. Jesus. Definitely not Lenny, no. And he is definitely not the sexiest man alive. Let's listen to Don't Do Stupid Shit in Japan. Don't do stupid shit anywhere, to be honest with you. So I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I was telling him about how, I'm willing, if I got a job offer somewhere else in the world, I'd fucking take it. I'd go. I don't give a shit. I told him I've been getting a lot of fucking offers from Dubai, and I was like, but I probably shouldn't go to the UAE. That's probably not where I should be. He's like, yeah, you are certainly a motherfucker that'd get his head chopped off. And I was like, remember the kid with the Singapore cane? The U.S. kid that went over like the early 90s and got caned in his ass? I would totally be the kid getting caned. I get a lot of, I'm a video editor. I can do anything. I can shoot cameras, photography or videography. I can take a camera apart and put it back together. I'm literally, if I took the test, I could be a fucking broadcast engineer. I could be I'm qualified to be a producer, a director. When I say producer, that's TV producer as in TV news station. I could be a producer at a local news station or something like that. Director, videographer, photographer, news reporter. I'm qualified to do it all. And I've been getting a lot of pornographer, yeah. I have always wanted to do pornography, actually, Flash. I would like to have a partner who had an OnlyFans or something and needed a videographer, photographer, and one with as much experience as I have on the kinky sites now. I think I could totally fucking run somebody's OnlyFans and turn it very successful in like 6 months. Really think I could do that. Especially if I had somebody that wanted to run an OnlyFans. I have consumed so much porn. And also wanted to be, on camera with me. Wanted to host a freak show with me and shit. Match made in heaven. Or hell, who knows. But it's amazing that I've not had more opportunities to do video editing for porn. With as wide a variety of shit that I've done over the years, I've only had one job in porn, and it creeped me the fuck out. The dude was he was a child psychologist, and he was into spanking videos. Like he was hiring hookers. Depends on the porn, Monsieur Balls. So he would hire hookers and record him spanking, and it really didn't seem like they were into it. That they were like, I can do other things for you, Daddy. And he's like, no, I want to spank you. And because I knew he was a child psychologist because I had his credentials. I knew who his professional. Exactly. And I eventually was just like, I'm done with this. It's too creepy. And he never sent me good footage either. He never sent me good footage, not once. So, yeah. Once again, Smokey is in front of my monitor. Let me try to use the other monitor. Okay, now I can make it big here. Thanks, Smokey.
What the?
I didn't even introduce this, did I?
Tonight on WTF. What's that stand for? John Krasinski has been named People Magazine's sexiest man alive for 2024. It's weird because I thought he was dead.
Oh.
Cat, I thought he was dead, but now I find out he's the sexiest man and he's alive. I'm so glad they added alive there because I would have been, but isn't he dead, Cat? Cat, do you find him sexy?
No.
No.
Not at all, and I find a lot of things sexy.
Kat, I think he is way out of your league, to be honest with you.
I mean, I honestly am convinced that.
Okay, what's wrong with John Krasinski? Andy from The Office, right? Is everybody against Krasinski? What did he do? I don't understand.
That nobody's watching The Office getting turned on.
Yeah.
Right? No, we're not? Okay. And then also he made a joke about it where he was like, well, guess what? This means I'm going to have to do more chores at home.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody
Holy shit.
What he's talking about?
I mean, muscles aren't my thing, but if muscles are your thing, Krasinski, damn, he's chiseled.
Does anybody understand what is that? What's the? I don't get the joke. Am I just stupid?
No.
He has to do more. He's sexy, so he has to do.
Is going to keep his feet on the ground.
Okay. The best jokes are the ones that need to be explained.
Right. I know. So he's not the funniest man alive. That's this guy right here.
No,
Wait, you think he's hot?
I do.
Ew.
I'm sorry. I do.
You know, you do bring up a good point. Whenever people ask,
ladies, is he hot?
What do you find sexy about a man? They always go, sense of humor.
Totally.
And it's such a lie.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Because built into that equation is the guy's already hot.
No.
All right, show me an ugly
Well, Gutfield, you're not funny.
that you find sexy.
Don't laugh.
Larry David. Larry David gets so much ass, probably because he's rich, but he's also very funny. You're not funny. You're not funny, Gutfeld. That's the problem.
Don't do it to him. He's sensitive.
Like, people don't go, oh, Don Rickles, I'd really like to bang him.
No. I get what you're saying.
I'm sure Don Rickles got pussy back in the day.
Let's just say that the humor really enhances any man's looks.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, in bed? Hey. You're
It's
disgusting.
It depends. It really does.
I had a girlfriend look up at me one time, and she was like, Daddy? Daddy? And, like, I was a little weirded out by it, but, you know, I'm a wordsmith here. I'm charismatic and everything. And I was like, unlike your daddy, I'll never leave you. Ended everything. Get off of me.
Depends. Look, I'll say he's tall. He's funny. He's got a family that he adores. I loved him in The Office.
Love breaking up families?
Did he break up a family?
No. He didn't break up a family.
He's trans, right?
What?
I don't know.
No.
Let's start it now.
I did not deliver that as well as I have in the past. It's one of my stand-up bits.
Yeah,
I loved him on
It really
The
happened,
Office, and
though.
there were moments where I found him very attractive on The Office. Honest to God, I'm being honest. I like this choice. What I like, if you look at the top of that little yellow circle, it says 125 men we love. I wonder how many things they went. Like, I bet Tim Walz was going to be in there had they.
Oh, they probably.
What?
And
They had to tear it. Remember, because they loved that.
Really?
Masculinity.
Yeah. He's the new man.
Yeah.
Jim, you know they don't have a sexiest woman. They don't do that.
They do beautiful, most beautiful.
I don't know. I don't read people. I read dead people. Sexiest man and dead people. You know who that was?
Who?
Lou Rawls. I don't know. I don't even know why that name popped up.
Maybe.
You'll never find another love like mine. That's Lou Rawls.
That's sexy.
Thank you. Well, maybe. Lou Rawls, remember? Hey.
No, I don't.
I think the Cole's flannel makes it even better. You know?
I got this with Cole's cash. What do you make of this choice?
I don't like that he said, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to do more chores around the house." And
who's this dude?
Have to do all that. So that means we know who controls that relationship. His wife does.
Mm-hmm.
When he's, gets a big award, he's going, "I'm gonna have to," the next time he should win an award for like most whipped husband. But he can't just sit there and enjoy it. But he's gonna, my wife's gonna make me do chores. Yeah, you're sexy, but go. Yeah. Like if I want it and my wife's like, hey, can you clean up? I'm like, sorry, you're going to have to find a little guy that's a little sexier than me to go do the dishes. It ain't happening.
Tyrus, last word to you.
Fucking Tyrus.
Greg, I normally would never say this live on TV, but you need to talk to Dr. Drew. This is tough on you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, he really wanted this. This was big for him. The training, the hours, the sacrifice, the haircuts. He worked on his abs. His trap game was strong.
Yes.
You know,
my quads.
He did everything right.
My glutes.
And now he's got a...
I feel bad that I butchered my own joke, and I'd like to I have a very open sexual life. I actually have a whole bucket list of sexual fetishes that I'd like to mark off before I die. So it's my fetish bucket list, or as I like to call it, my bucket list. I wish I could go back to my 15-year-old self who was incredibly sexually frustrated. And I wish I could pat him on the back and say, dude, it's all okay. You are going to get to fuck so many hot 18 and 19-year-olds, it's not even funny. You just have to wait until you're 30 and you meet girls with daddy issues. You got some issues, you want to come back to my place and work out after the show? I was making love to my ex one night and she looked up at me and she called me daddy. And it wasn't daddy in like a sexual, like daddy kind of way. It was like, daddy, in like a repressed child kind of way. And I'm a creative writer, so I looked her in the eyes and I wanted to, say something passionate and emotional back to her. And I looked her in the eyes and I said, unlike your daddy, I'll never leave you. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I do promote safe sex, at least for the purpose of this joke. I prefer lifestyle condoms to Trojan. By the way, I found out after I started doing stand-up comedy that everyone has a version of this joke, but mine is the best. And the reason why is the name, Trojan. It implies that you're covered, but they're going to sneak your men in through the gate. And that is the best thing. You think my friend Katie sounds like Media Winch. I might have to have Katie call in sometime and talk to the Media Winch then. See if you guys still think that they sound a lot alike, or maybe their laughs just sound a lot. Smokey in front of a monitor again. Women only have like 4 laughs. Everyone sounds like the Media Witch. God damn it.
Now's your chance. A pair of Dorothy's ruby slippers are up for auction. And just like Dorothy, this pair of shoes has been on its own long and very strange journey. Special correspondent Megan Thompson explains for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Too late.
Ironic sounding like Seth Rogen over here.
Dorothy's ruby slippers. Some of the most iconic movie memorabilia of all time, worn by actor Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz.
You know, it's such a story of promise and hope. Frank Sinatra said, "We will all be forgotten, all of us, but not Judy." And I think he was right on.
John Kelsch has made preserving Garland's legacy his life's work as the curator of the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, a small city 3 hours north of Minneapolis.
Judy Garland's parents owned this house for 7 years.
Born Frances Ethel Gumm in 1922,
Gumm?
Garland lived here until she was 4 and got her start performing at a local theater. More than 10,000 fans make the trek each year to visit her childhood home and the museum.
The slippers were exhibited on top of this pedestal.
Over the years, the museum displayed a pair of the famous ruby
Seriously,
slippers,
Flash.
loaned from a Hollywood memorabilia collector named Michael Shaw. In August 2005, the slippers were at the museum for the 4th time when everything was shattered.
Garland, way better than gum.
A thief in the night smashed the glass of a side door and walked right in.
Creeped along this wall like that. We're a small town museum. We had security, but there were many lapses. It was almost a perfect storm. And you might say a comedy of errors.
The door's alarm had been disabled because school children kept tripping it. There were no cameras recording, no motion detectors in the gallery. When Kelsch, museum director at the time, arrived the next morning,
And I said, well, there's a sequin.
all that was left was a single sequin on the floor.
You just feel violated and trust is gone. And our credibility for borrowing other artifacts was destroyed.
Yep.
When you think of the Wizard of Oz and the magic of the Wizard of Oz, they're going into this far-off fantasy land and they're meeting these weird people. That's what these shoes did in real life in the criminal caper.
Pam Dowell is a freelance writer in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, but a John Wayne film, they're probably like sponsored by Marlboro as well. They're all smoking the entire time, which they're probably smoking on the set of The Wizard of Oz as well.
Who covered the crime for the local papers.
I was making phone calls to everybody.
As the years went by and the case went cold, rumors swirled.
Amazed Oz not got a cigarette in his mouth.
An unscrupulous fan? The shoe's owner looking for an insurance payout?
Inside job, because it just seemed like there were too many things that went awry that night. So there were lots of different speculations.
Ruby slippers.
Brian Manson is an investigator with the Grand Rapids Police Department who chased several ruby slipper leads.
And all of a sudden he's like, you're not going to believe it.
Once staking out a house in the woods where he found this pair of high heels covered in glitter.
I see it says made in China, so I was kind of mad.
But another lead that Matson worked ended up cracking the case. In 2018, 13 years after the heist, the shoes were recovered during an FBI sting operation in Minneapolis. But the first indictment wouldn't come for 5 more years. So who were the alleged criminal masterminds that eluded the law for almost 2 decades? 2 buddies named Terry and Jerry, career criminals who decided to team up for one last score, both in ill health by the time they showed up to court.
You got now these 2 older guys, kind of crusty, little buggers. It doesn't fit the story of what we've speculated on.
Terry Martin, who lives in Grand Rapids, claimed in court he mistakenly thought the shoes were made of real rubies.
I believe that they got something that was too hot to move. And they were very specific. They were identifiable. So then they had to sit on them.
And so the slippers sat, allegedly in Jerry Soliterman's backyard near Minneapolis, buried for years in a plastic box.
I think that clearly the ruby slippers are among the most iconic and valuable pieces of movie memorabilia.
Ryan Lintelman is the curator of the entertainment collection at the National Museum of American History, where the FBI brought the shoes for authentication. Lintelman's team compared them to another pair of ruby slippers the museum owns.
And the real smoking gun was a missing stone from one of the bows that had been replaced during production with a clear stone that was painted red, a detail that had never been published about the ruby slippers before. Not even the most skilled forger would know to do that.
Lintelman says the Smithsonian slippers, one of 4 pairs known to exist, are one of its most popular items, seen by more than 100 million people over the years.
I think people bring a lot of personal memories and love of Hollywood film.
Follow the yellow brick road.
But I think they also bring this sort of interest in Dorothy.
Does everybody know the story of the Wizard of Oz and that they weren't actually ruby slippers in the book? And that this is a story about the gold standard.
His journey and the way that that's played out in their lives.
In March, the stolen pair were reunited with their owner, Michael Shaw, who decided to put them up for
They're
auction.
silver slippers in the book, I believe.
Janie Heights,
I may be getting that wrong, though.
director of the Judy Garland Museum, is raising money to make a bid, saying for the ruby slippers, there's no place like home.
Having a pair of ruby slippers in her hometown where she was happy as a child would be a good Hollywood happy ending to this saga of the ruby slippers.
The slippers are estimated to be worth more than $3 million, and online bidding, which started on November 1st, is already nearing $1 million.
It's definitely an uphill
Oz is
battle,
a sequel.
but dreams really do come true.
The museum is accepting
Torchy, stick around.
And on its
Animal
website,
videos next.
Heights is approaching big dollar donors across the country. The state of Minnesota has even pledged $100,000, with Governor Tim Walz promising 24/7 Ocean's 11 proof security.
Tap your heels together 3 times.
They have a power that is mythical. Even if we
Ron Howard looking bitch
at the auction, perhaps someone will donate them someday. We could be surprised.
Bidding for the ruby slippers will end at a live auction in Dallas on December 7th. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Megan Thompson in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Prometheus, welcome in. I had every intention on only doing an hour and then playing video games. I ended up doing a full show. These two sweet puppies are looking for a home, Cleo and Clyde.
I'm Cleo. Well, it is a very happy Saturday morning here. It is time for Pet Line 9. Today we have Dana from the Wolf Rescue. Thank you so much for being here.
Wolf Rescue.
Thank you so much for having me back. Yes, absolutely. And who do we have here besides just the sweetest little puppies ever?
This is Cleo, and that is Clyde.
And what kind of dogs are they?
So we believe they are husky mixes, but aren't exactly sure.
Sure, yeah. Tell me a little bit about how
You're in the Denver area. These puppies can be yours.
Streets of Texas with their mom. They are 2 of 8. A shelter down in Texas took them in, High Kill Shelter that we work with. So we saw them on their website and we decided to take them in and bring them up here so they could start a new life.
Oh, I love that. And now they're looking for a home. Oh, gosh. So what kind of dogs are they? They're going to be big. They're little now. They're just 5 weeks, but they're going to grow up and be real big.
They're really tiny now, but they're going to be very big and they're going to be probably vocal, as huskies are, but vocal. They're going to have a lot of energy. They're going to need a lot of attention. So definitely someone who is willing to dedicate a lot of time
But they will make great companions.
That's good to know. And you have quite a few of them.
Super intelligent.
Oh, so you got lots of brothers and sisters who need a place to go too.
Should make a good guard dog.
What about kids? How do we think they'll be with kids?
Unless they're just too nice.
Honestly, puppies usually do good with all children. It really depends on how they're introduced, but so far, they haven't really shown any signs of aggression. So I think they'll do really well with children.
Good, good. And I know they're still puppies, they're still little, but what are their personalities like right now?
Kind of like sassy and playful and kind of chatty. That one's a little chatty when he plays. This one's a little shy. She's kind of shy, as you can see.
Yeah.
But very playful.
Oh, I love it. Is there anything else that anybody needs to know about them? How soon will they be up for adoption?
Probably in like 2 months. Just, because they're 5 weeks old now, so we want to get them all vaccinated, spayed and neutered, make sure they're all good to go for their forever homes. So probably 2 months from now.
That's good. So people don't have to make a decision right now. You can wait on it a little bit and they'll be ready for you as soon as you're ready.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Dana, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Sweet babies.
What kind of dogs are they? They're going to be big. They're little now. They're just 5 weeks, but they're going to grow up and be real big.
They're really tiny now, but they're going to be very big and they're going to be probably vocal, as huskies are, but vocal. They're going to have a lot of energy. They're going to need a lot of attention. So definitely someone.
If you're watching on Twitch, you're going to head over to VC Archives.
That's good to know. And you have quite a few of them.
Don't see them on very often, so I want to be able to rate into them while they're on. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back.
What about kids? How do
It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack.
Depends.
I am JustinFREAKIN.
Puppies usually do good.
We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol.
Depends on how
live.
But so far, they haven't really shown any